Well, here we are again with the tags, and this is me thinking. So I've got a bag of Scrabble letters and I've brought a few out, and I've used two, but I'm sitting looking at the rest of them and going so I just sit here and I play around. I get all the little bits out and I just go, I kind of like this one the way it is now. That one I rather like. I'm still thinking about the others. I mean, there are all sorts of things you can use. Like you can see that I've taken these letters and I've used some sort of grittiness on them. What it is I made myself my own set of grunge pastes, textured grunge pastes, and this is them. I just use different sorts of colours and densities of texture, and that's the one I've chosen for here. Possibly, I mean, like I say, nothing is stuck down yet, so could be anything. You can also use these things. These are spirit cards. There we are, there's the packet. It's from a magazine, and I went through them all and I decided which ones I quite like, but they're beautifully done, but they're sort of wishy-washy and they don't quite go with my hard-edged style very well, so I probably won't use them. Not for this anyway. I don't know. I do really want to use some of these little beads. I'm going to put sort of tassels and not tassels, you know, bits of ribbon, like this has got a piece of string through it. I was wanting to use something like, but probably not this. I mean, I look at it and I go, lovely stuff, and then I look at what I'm using. No. So I might use a bit of that. Highly unlikely. I have got a load of ribbon in the other room, so I might use a bit of that, or I might just use a little bit of cord like that, around there, and then maybe just thread a couple of those on, and maybe some of these. I do like those very much. You can see I've been playing with the inks, so I might do that, or I might use some of these little coloured. I like the dark ones particularly, alphabet beads. They come, these are from the works. They come in this light colour as well. But I don't know, I'm thinking about that. I mean, if you've got one lot of letters, why would you be using another lot as well? I've also got that, now these, you see, are bits of copper that I've hammered myself. You can see I've got these hammery things. This is a punch, and this is called a dapping block, and what I do is I put my bit of metal in the dapping block and then I just hammer it only on a surface, so it's not in mid-air like that, and that's how I get these nice round shapes. There's different sizes, so you can get lovely different shapes. And I've also done things like this, which is making the shape yourself by hand and then colouring it. I used fire to colour that. That's real copper. And then I was doing lots of stamping, as you can see. Stamping out by, I mean, cutting with a punch. Here we are. This punch. And I also have a slightly smaller one. There. So I've cut both sizes out, using various things, like there's this stuff I did earlier when I was doing the bookmarks and making the little journals. In fact, that's a piece of it on there, the other side, the lighter side. Oh no, maybe it's a different sheet. Anyway, so I used some of that on the end papers. There we go, you see, on the end papers. So I did use that one on that book, but I used a different sheet on the outside. So there you go. So I punched some daisy flowers out using my punch in different sizes, and different, well, what happened? I thought I picked that up. Different bits of the material. So that's that. And then I had this somewhere. You know when you wash your clothes and you have a sheet that you put in to the wash, and it's a colour catcher sheet is what it's called, but I take those out of the wash and I go, and I colour them some more. I add extra sprays and, you know, you end up with this lovely colour. So I just punched some out of this one. There's a couple of them I punched out of the greeny coloured one. I use Lindy's Stamp Gang on the spraying on the colour catcher sheet. And then I've also used this, which is just the mopping up of sprays, and I cut one out of there. It's quite difficult to do that because you cut one out, but you can see it just tears trying to get the punch out again. But I managed to get one. I could probably get some more out of there if I wanted different colours, but well, there we go. And then I thought to myself, why not see if you can use one of those punches to punch a little flower out of your copper metal foil. So I did, and I could, so that's good. I'm not sure where I'm going to use it yet. I keep trying it on various things and I like it so much I might punch quite a few more out. Yes, but I like this right here. This is polymer clay, this piece. It's an impression from a doll's head. Well, I had the doll's head and I made a what do you call it? Mould, using mould putty. And then I put a little tiny scrap of clay at the end of some work I was doing into the mould, and that's what came out, and I really liked it. So I then coloured it with copper metal paint and then used the patina liquids on it as well, and it came out really well, and I like that. So I thought I'd put that there. I'm thinking that that one's settled. I think I know what I want on that. It just seems to work, that one. So I'll probably be gluing that one down. And then I've got another punch which does fancy corners. So I punched the corner of this one. See? That's one of the pieces I was painting earlier. I'll probably put some colour on it, but I don't know yet what, because I don't know what I'm going to use it with. I like steampunk, so I've got all these steampunky bits here. I'm not sure whether I'm going to use them or not, but I do like the way that would obscure everything, but I do like the way this particular clock hand fits rather nicely in the hole there that I punched. So I don't know, thinking about that one as well. And I do want to use some of these nice letters, so there's that one for that. And then there are other letters I've been thinking about for this one. The trouble is I don't like to use too much, too big, so I might just use one of them. And I'm not picking these letters for any specific reason. I'm just saying to myself, that looks nice on there. That'll do. I do like that little daisy flower though. See, I want to keep some of this design visible. I don't like the way people start with something and then immediately everything's dry, they cover it up with something else so that you can't see what you started with. And I think, why? Did you not like what you did to start with? Well, I do like what I did to start with, so I don't want to cover it up. Not completely. So, but this one's just a white background, so I could do almost anything with that. No, maybe not. I've got some cords. I've got, oh yes, I've got these. And these are crushed glass glitter. Stampendous frontage. And I like these. This one's royal purple and this one's oceanic. and I quite like the colours. But the thing is, you've got to either put it on quite firmly and crusty and then just leave it, I hope. I usually use a gel if I can, but I have found that the colour of these leaches into some glues, so I've got to be sparing with it really. But I've got various other bits and bobs, like I love these. I think these are gorgeous. I'm going to put some on there, I think. They're, what are they? Zamora beads. Susan Weinberg's Zamora beads. Iridescent is the colour they're saying it is. It's just like sort of sparkly glass. And I've got these I bought recently because I couldn't resist the purpleness. Yeah, we're all a bit daft, don't we? And I got some, I'm not sure about those. They would show up quite well on there, but no. And then there's a couple more here. This one's quite good. I like the colour of that one. And that one's a bit lighter. I don't like that colour quite so much. So I don't know, I'm thinking about it. I haven't done any more with these yet. Because again, I'm thinking about what I'm doing. So there's no way this video is going to be ready for any kind of schedule. I'm just doing things as they come to me, and I like, it's relaxing. I like being able to just do stuff as you want to do it. Doing it to a time is fine if you know what you're doing, but when I get to this stage, I haven't got a clue. So I'm just messing about, thinking about what I'm doing, thinking about what I like, and going from there really. I've got a little bottle there with some bits of kitty litter that I've previously coloured. I mean, it's just nothing, but it looks like, you know, sort of dragon scale or something, whatever. It's whatever you want it to be. And then I've got this one, which is that lovely coloured one that I really like the colour of. I might use the heart with that one. The bee is quite nice. I might use a little bit of blues and greens to create some sort of patina effect on it. Maybe. And this is that is an acorn cup, isn't it? It was an acorn cup. And all I did with that is colour it with paint. I think it was copper paint, yeah, copper. And then use some of the patinas on that. So I've got lovely colours on it. And this was found nearby. It's it would have been an acorn in a cup, but some sort of gall or other has got at it, and it's a really fantastic shape now. So I did the same treatment to that. I liked it. There we go. I'm going to use this winter hair card from the Nature Spirits Oracle cards, but I don't like the white border, so I'm cutting that off. I think it's going to look better without the white border. A lot better. Might even cut off the words. I prefer to leave things open to interpretation, but it's not so bad. I like that better, much better. Yes, that's a great deal nicer. So if I'm going to use that, and I wanted the H because it's the hair, there we are. That's quite nice. Lovely. And a little late butterfly, because there's certainly a lot of late. It's a very odd year this year. There's a great deal of late colour in the garden. I mean, it's December the 11th and there are still roses outside. Roses, for heaven's sakes. Huh. Unfortunately, they're white ones and pale pinks, and I do eco dyeing and I like the dark ones because they give you the colour. So I can't really use those. But ho-hum, beautiful. Right, well, I've stuck some of these beads down. Now, the easiest way I found to do it was to use a piece of double-sided tape on the very inside and then roll, 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 roll. And I use a little bit of this heavy body gel towards the end, and that seems to stick it really well. That's what I did with this one, and it's lovely. I will then go over it with Mod Podge to give it a surface treatment on the outside. Make it more solid. So, oh, this double-sided tape, by the way, I got that from the range. They do different sizes. That's a really nice thin one, as you can see. Stick It, it's called. They do other things as well, like the permanent adhesive dot roller, which I actually haven't even used yet. So I don't know what that's like. Now, I've been painting one of these clothing tags to turn it into a tag. And this one I've painted with submarine yellow. Well, that's a paper artsy one. And this inscribed holly berry, which I find is a really nice strong red. I did try the London bus from the same range, the paper artsy one, but it's just too soft, and it's not. It's sort of slightly red, sort of maroony. I don't know, and it's translucent, so it didn't give a good effect. So this one was lovely, holly berry from Inscribe. Super. So I've got a lovely sort of tongue of flame on it, and I used the same colour and same idea on that little piece there for that tag, and I've stuck those down. I have to wait until they're dried properly, and the bee is now stuck down. So there we are. I'm all done with that. I'm quite happy with that one. Really happy with that one, actually. I like it a lot. So that can go with the already done ones over there with QI and the C1. That's not quite finished, that one. I mean the what do we call them? Zamora beads, iridescent Zamora beads are now nicely stuck down. I've got some around the seahorse. Super. But I wanted to do a bit more. Ugh. And this thing, I'm going to have to spray it with some sort of sealant because the ink is continuously coming off. My fault for using so much of it and liking it. But I'm going to seal it with, I don't know, either PIM 3 or, was it PIM 2? Anyway, PIM or some other sealer. But it'll probably have to be PIM because I've got the polymer clay here. And I don't want to have the polymer clay becoming sticky over time. And PIM is the only one that's guaranteed to do that. And it will do other things as well. So that'll be fine. And on this little one here, I want to put wet and dry. Don't ask me why. I just like it. It looked right. I had wet on there for a while and I thought, and then I put dry on as well and it seemed to make sense. No particular reason. W-E-T. And although I had the T, I wasn't convinced by it, so I found a W now. I may use that. Simply because I don't know, or I might use this Z. No, maybe not. But it's all the sort of decisions, isn't it? You pick things up and you try things and you go no, and then you try something else and you go no, and eventually you come to something you go actually that works quite well, so you end up using it. And I'm not sure whether the W does work or not. Or whether it's absolutely got to be the T and pretend it's for somebody called Teresa. I do like the way the T stands out, you see. So I may well revert to that. Or, of course, there's that nice J. I like the J. Right, well, this is how far I've got. I've got quite a lot of bits on here. I've got some more to put on yet. So, what I haven't done is that piece. The rest of that one is done. I don't know what tassely bits I'm going to use for it. I just have to think about that. And that one's done, obviously. This one I'm still thinking about. And this one I'm still thinking about. Still going with the wet and dry, but this one has now been sprayed, so hopefully I shouldn't get the purple on my hands anymore. I don't think I will. So it took me ages finding my PIM as well. So now I can get on and finish that one off. I've got some more things I want to put on there. I've got the little book ready. I'm going to make it a little book of the sea, or Sea Gunner's Reckoner or something like that. That one. This is still being thought about. That's finished. That's coming. Right, well here's an update on how I'm doing with this particular tag. I put these letters on, and I'm thinking about whether I'm going to use that or not. I might, and then again I might not. And I've painted the J. There were some white gaps in it. I've now painted it with red, as you can see. And the reason I've stuck with the J is because I've had this brainwave. J is going to stand for Janus. Now Janus was an ancient Roman god. He was a god of beginnings and endings, doorways, gateways, and because he looked both towards the end and towards the beginning, he was represented by two faces. It's called the two-faced god. But not because of the way we think of two-facedness now. So there we are. So it's the god of beginnings and endings, J. And on this piece it was stamped into the plaster. I've gone over it with some lovely, what do you call them? Gilding wax. I used this one, which is amethyst. I've took quite a long time because it's gone quite hard, or had gone hard. So I've had to mash it up like mad with some turpentine to reinvigorate it, and it's now beautifully mushy. As you can see, look, it's just lovely. So doing that, I got some on my little paddle, and it's just a cotton bud, went over it to highlight these edges. I did it with purple and a blue one. This is from Gleams because it's a nice strong blue. It's called Cobalt, that one. The lilac one was called Amethyst, and that's Creative Expressions. And the other one was Teal. No, it wasn't Teal, because I had to mash that one up as well. So it's got to be, might be Patina. And then again, no, I don't think it was Patina. Might have been, but I don't think so. Might have been this one. What's this one? Decadent Teal. No, it's not that one. Which one was it? Graceful Mint? Yes, Graceful Mint. You can see it's all mashed up the way I mixed it together. I just used my palette knife and a nice strong pair of pliers because I couldn't find anything else pointy. So, and then just mashed it together, and then I've got a nice soft wax. That's what you do when you need to revitalise these things. In fact, I ran Creative Expressions themselves a year or two ago when it first happened to me, and that's what they told me to do, terps. Right, I've got these nice little alphabet beads, got them from the works. I'm going to use some of them to complete the word Janus. There we go. Haven't stuck them down yet, but I'm going to use the heavy body gel, which is quite good at sticking stuff like that down. I am now about to spray these cards. 4 yellow ones in the middle, don't have any gesso on. I've been using the purple Deco Arts mister, and you can see that the lack of gesso is a bit of a problem. That is the violet shimmer mister I'm using there, and that's the yellow green I'm about to use on those cards. And then I'm going to use the turquoise as well, one of my favourite colours. Lush, lovely colours they are. I like them because they're acrylics, and as soon as they're dry they don't move. I mean, I like other sprays as well, but that's what I like about these. So there we are. I'm not happy about that, so I've got out some gesso and I'm going over the ones that didn't have any on. Yes, it's obliterating the colour that's there, but I can pick up, see me picking up the colour from the sides. Oh, it creates such a lovely effect. I liked it so much that I went and did the same thing on the other side as well. So I've got both sides of these tags painted in the end. Yeah, going over that one as well. See, picking up the lovely colour. Really works well. I have to keep rinsing the brush because I don't want to get colour in my pot of gesso. So there we go. Lovely. In fact, I liked it so much I went and did it on the cork matting one as well, which already had gesso on, but it didn't matter because I was quite happy with that. Like that. So there we go, a bit more. Now here are the tags are all dry, so I'm turning them over so that you can see the lovely colours that were there, and then I'm going to do the other colours, so we'll turn them back again in a moment. There we go. But I'm going to use the same colours, and I think I might also be using the primary magenta, but I'm not sure. Right, turn them all over. It makes a little bit of a smudge on the back, but because it's dry it's quite easy to get rid of that. I think that's the primary magenta, that first one. And we've got the purple and the turquoise now, and then the yellow green. There we go, gesso time. It's a bit laborious because I've got to keep on rinsing the brush because I don't want to get the colour in the pot. But it worked really well. I was so happy with the result. Really nice. I did do a little bit more spraying because by now the colours on the mat were starting to dry up. But there we go. And there we go on that one, yes. One of these has turned out really good. They're all lovely, but one or two of them was just so good. If you keep going too long, you end up with it too well blended, and I preferred it to be a little bit more random than that. There we go. This is quite speeded up quite a lot because it was getting to be too long a video, and I didn't want to mess about with it so much. But I added more gesso there because I wanted a bit more of colour blending. So there you go. That's me adding a bit more colour. Lovely. More colour there. This on this video it looks quite dark in places and muddy, but in real life it isn't. It's just that I haven't quite got the settings for the colour on the video right. I may try and adjust that, but there you go. Hold on. This is the end of the tags video. That's as far as I'm going with it at the moment. So in conclusion, this is what we've got. We've got this one. It's not finished, but that's because I'm waiting for glue to dry. I have created the Sea Gunner's Practice, but I haven't put a title on it. It's a steampunk liner on the inside, and I'm going to write Sea Gunner's Practice, or it might have been Sea Gunner's Record. I can't remember. It's something that was that Kay Harker found in Midnight Folk in Rupert Bilge's sea chest, so I just thought, and he appropriated it, so I thought I would too. So that would go quite nicely with that. I'm thinking of the green tag there because it's nicely contrasting. Don't know. This one is all done. We've got little daisy flowers. We've got a bead made from card. Let's make that a bit closer for you. And we've got the hare, the winter hare. And we've got a nice butterfly and various little daisies, and the acorn cup with a little piece of brass in copper inside, and the acorn that was attacked by a gall wasp and thus became a gall, and a nice moon face. I like that. So that's that one. Then we've got this one, which is very steampunk. This I can barely move because it's not long been stuck down. I've got various pieces on here, from pieces of metal, cogs and gears. This is going to go on. I've got some pieces of rusty metal that I found. I've got polymer clay that I have done in a mould, and then when it came out it was made of peacock pearl. So I've gone over that with Gilder's wax, copper coloured Gilder's wax to go in with everything else. Everything will have a little touch of different colours of Gilder's wax, like these kind of colours, the greens and the purples, because I want it to look slightly rusty and coppery. And in here I've just got some kitty litter, which I coloured with greens and purples, 2 different batches, and then just let them go in there. Really ought to keep the lid off because they're not that long done. They're sort of dry, but they're not leaving trails of ink, but yeah. So there's that one. I did a little more steampunk on this one. It's only just been stuck down, so I won't move it. It's got this twisted face, which I really loved making those. Did those some time ago and had a few left over. I don't know why they are, it just looks right. There's a glass bead, and I've got underneath, I've got a little lock and couple of cogs. Now, we've also got this one, which that's stuck down, but I'm thinking about that one. This is actually made with corrugated packing paper, and I've just sprayed it silver, and that's all. This is the QI one, inspired by the QI program. Quite interesting that we have here on TV in the UK. So that's done. And then we have the metal one, done with copper metal foil and copper wire. That's been patinated by heating it with a butane torch and then not taking away the colours. I loved the colours so much, I wanted to keep those. So, and then we've got the little flower there, which I punched out of thin metal foil in the same way that I punched these flowers. So there we are, there's that. I have the word water here, which I need to sort of adjust slightly because it's not reading very well. It's gone a bit wibbly, but they have some little beads on there, and I put another tag on the top because it's a nice contrasting colour. And then we've got the Janus tag from the Roman god of looking forwards and backwards, beginnings and endings, and opposites, gateways and so forth. And I've not done anything else except stick this little butterfly on the J. That's it, I'm done. It's all finished, that one. I really like that one actually. And then there's this one, it's another one I like a lot. It's got a piece of Tyvek, another piece of a smaller tag which I cut that little design out of using a corner bunch. There's her Cantor Crafter's beads on there that she sent me, which I think are absolutely lovely. They're nicely sort of randomy but with a little bit of colour and gold to them. And the bee, no idea where the bee, it just went, so there we go, that's that. And then all we have left after that are these tags, which are waiting for ideas. So I think I'm going to put these in my stash and just leave them be, so that I've got something to work with later when I feel like it. So these were just coloured, you know, sprayed, and I then painted over the top with gesso, and it melded in so nicely that I went and did some more. So that's those. Some of them are just sprayed on, but these are the colours picked up from the plastic while it was still wet. The ink was still wet, so I'm quite happy with those. And then we've got these last few, which are the ones that I made earlier but have not yet used. And these are the larger tags from the second die, which I now can't remember. I think it was a Tim Holtz Ranger's Don't one.